Okay, hey everybody, Dan Fitzpatrick here, stockmarketmentor.com. Happy Friday. Hope everybody had a wonderful day off yesterday. Those of you that are in the US, actually, those of you everywhere, because the market was closed. Anyway, so we're coming into the weekend, and one thing I want to point out is Tesla, because the stock has been kind of grinding right along here. The stock first, it kind of looked like it was going to break out a week ago on the 22nd. Volume was, I'll say, kind of fairly high, not even above average volume. However, we'd seen these big, massive volume spikes here that really dragged the average up over the last 20 days. And so I looked at this and thought, you know what? That's pretty decent time to start a position, which we did. And then the stock fell down a bit, but it's still kind of holding its own here. So as I look at the stock, I see it just kind of trending sideways. Now, if you're watching from a, I guess kind of from, well, I guess it's a political thing just because governments are involved, but it's not really political in my mind. It's just money wise. I think Gavin Newsom, the idiot who runs California, has put some kind of thing out where every EV gets an incentive except Tesla, and that's a political thing, as most people should know, because there's no reason to X Tesla out of that. Now, over in Europe, there is a real clamoring from, I think it's Ford, asking the UK to really, really put the hammer down on people that aren't driving EVs and I don't really mean that in a bad way, but like to give such massive incentives and even mandates because effectively their stuff isn't selling. Like it's one thing to say, "Oh, the world's going to come to an end," or whatever it is, and that's fine. Everybody has different thoughts on that. But when the average consumer says, "Yeah, yeah, yeah," well, that's all well and good, but I want to just be able to fill up my car with gas rather than wait at a charging station. That's the kind of thing that consumer demand is going to have something to say about it, as opposed to um, government mandates or government incentives to where, hey, buy this car and we give you X amount of dollars and it's going to be awesome. Trust us. If people are saying, yeah, I get that, but I'm still not willing to do that, then that's going to be a real problem. And I think therein lies the rub with EVs. The intentions there, definitely the facilities are there. Everybody's got to make all these EVs. But the average consumer, one by one, it's a little bit like voting. It's a little bit like going through the self-checkout as opposed to the typical checkout stand at the supermarket. You're kind of doing what you're doing, and you're not really telling anybody. You're not taking out ads and telling people what you're buying at the store, or who you're voting for example, stuff like that. You're not doing that. And so it's the same thing with buying a car. You're buying one car, and you can be looking around and going like, wow, I really feel self-conscious about buying a Ford F-150, but that's kind of what I want. That's what people are going to be doing. And so my point is, all the big forces that are trying to push people to drive EVs. And again, I'm not making a judgment call on that. We own one. But all of those things, you can see all the headlines, but what you really got to do is say, okay, well, what are the charts telling me? What are investors doing? And that gets me back to Tesla. So Tesla is really kind of being singled out in not a good way in the People's Republic of California, where we've lived under siege for quite a while, but then also over in the UK. But the stock doesn't care. And that's why I'm looking at Tesla. And even though it's run up like it has, it still looks pretty good to me. You can see this, it's kind of a grindy stock, running up and down, but a lot of time spending it above the upper Bollinger Band, which is a sign of strength on the daily chart. Not really doing that. It was for a while, but now it's in this consolidation phase. So this is my suggestion to you. Look at Wednesday's intraday low here. of 326.59. And you can use that kind of as a reference for your stop. And you can certainly look at this last high here as your reference for a breakout level, like 362, we'll call it 362. Here, sorry, I'm kind of close enough. So this is just the box that this is grinding into. But in order even to start taking an early position on this, you can do this right here as long as you're protecting your trade at say 5% loss, something like that. You're starting small, and then you're keeping a stop again, like just below Wednesday's low of 326.59, so 326.50 even, and that's not, it's a little over 5% loss, 5.5%. And so that way you can kind of get an early start on this. This isn't the best entry, frankly, but the best entry only comes along every so often. This is an entry. It is an entry that could work as long as the stock holds above the 8-day. If it starts closing below the 8-day EMA, then you can say, well, Dan, your trade idea didn't work. And I would say, you're right, it didn't. Also, one last thing, we need to see volume. Need to see volume coming up here. Didn't see any today, but that's to be understood. It's a Friday, trade shortened day after a holiday yesterday. You're never going to get a lot of volume there. So we'll watch and see what happens on Monday. Also, one last thing, Scott McGregor, my crypto guy, is going to be teaching a crypto course on the 11th. You should, if you're getting this video, unless somebody sent it to you, you will be getting some emails on that, giving you an opportunity to sign up. I promise you this is going to be a different kind of course because I'm involved in it and I don't know very much about crypto. So the gist of it's going to be, hey, Scott, it's me. I don't know very much about crypto, but I know enough to know what I don't know. So let's talk about all these different aspects of crypto with the idea that at the end of our time together, I feel like I've got a real working knowledge, not just of Bitcoin, but of the cryptocurrency market, and can frankly can speak intelligently about it when one friend of mine or some guy that I meet says, oh, well, it's just a big Ponzi scheme. Instead of me saying, well, no, I don't think it is, but maybe it is, I don't know. Instead of me saying that, I can say, well, this is what I think. Why don't you sit down and I'll share my knowledge with you for about half an hour, 45 minutes. We want to put you in that situation because you're going to be a more powerful crypto, not just a trader, but an investor. My wife and I are pretty heavily invested in Bitcoin. And the cool thing is, we're heavily invested in Bitcoin because we were lightly invested in Bitcoin. And Bitcoin, through the grace of the good crypto gods in the sky and all the crypto bulls, our light investment has turned into a big, heavy investment. So that's where I want you to get ultimately. You're going to make money, so much money to be made there. And so I want you to attend that event. I don't even have a page for you right here. It's just me talking. So watch your email for that. I promise you, this is going to be the best time, the best investment in your time you'll be able to recall having. And that's all I have to say about that.